Acoustic Alternatives, the podcast done in Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. If you're looking for a place to practice before a gig, or if you're a DJ or a band in the Ann Arbor, Detroit area, and you're looking for a place to get out of your garage and not annoy the heck out of your neighbors, you can come here and make some noise. It doesn't annoy mostly anybody except for the guy down the hall. We might hear a little bit of his stuff. And today my podcast is focusing on my friend Griffin House, who's recently released an album called Stories for a Rainy Day. Griffin, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Good to be back again.
Michigan loves you, and we're happy that you've chosen to put us on your tour, which means I get to catch up with you in person. And we're going to get into a little bit of your backstory and do a few songs, couple songs, or whatever you're feeling from Stories for a Rainy Day.
Sure.
Do you feel like starting with the song, or would you rather chat a little first?
Let's chat a little.
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, let's go background. Let's start with background. You grew up somewhere in Ohio, right?
Yep, Springfield, Ohio.
And that's where the Simpsons are from.
That's what people say. I don't know. I don't think it's actually our town. I don't know where. I think they did determine where that Springfield was at some point, but it wasn't.
It's where Shelbyville near you.
We didn't have any nuclear reactors or anything there, so it's probably not us.
I figure whatever Springfield is next to is Shelbyville wins, but
yeah,
I don't know that there really is one.
Yep.
There
might be.
Recently learned that John Legend was in your school with you?
Yeah,
as well?
John Legend. He was John Stevens then, but he sang the national anthem and sang in the musicals, and so I was talking about him last night actually at the show, telling people I went to school.
Did you know him, and did you know that he was going to be some sort of an individual making music?
I didn't know him very well, kind of just was. I think he was a year ahead of me, and he might have skipped a grade or something. I'm not sure. I think he's a year older than I am, though. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I remember he went away to school, to college, and we had heard a rumor that he had started playing keyboards for Lauryn Hill, and that was just like, we couldn't believe that was actually true. I mean, it was just like someone from Springfield could be playing for a famous person, was out of this world. But apparently he was, and then we ended up being on the same production deal in Philadelphia, like totally unrelated, had nothing to do with the fact that we were from the same spot, but he had gone to school out there, and I signed a production deal with a company in Philadelphia, and we were like, there were only 3 people on this roster, and we were both of them. So,
and at that point in high school, you weren't really doing music, right? You didn't really pick up music until after.
Yeah, I had never even touched an instrument, and I first sang in a musical in Oklahoma. I got cast in a part there, so that was my first experience singing.
That's a trial by fire, I suppose.
Pretty much.
Getting on stage in front of people. Did it light the spark in you? Is that what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to. I learned from a tape in my car. I put it in my tape deck and practiced the songs from Oklahoma, and then I finally kind of figured it out. There was a piano teacher that helped me sing along. You know, he'd kind of start me on the right note, and then I got the hang of it. It was kind of like riding a bike, but I know when I got a lot of praise for singing, it was really exciting for me because I had no idea that would be something that I could do, and it ended up being pretty cool.
What were your interests before that?
Mainly sports. I was a golfer in high school. That was what I was best at, and I played in junior tournaments and things like that. Grew up playing, and I won a lot of tournaments and did pretty well, and I got offered a scholarship to go to Ohio University, but I decided not to go that route.
How close did you come to selling tires for a living?
Not very close, because my dad would never let me come work down there. I'd always ask him when I was a kid if I could come work at the tire shop and make some money and be a tire guy, and he would just never let me do it. So it's funny.
Why do you think he steered you away?
Probably because he worked there with his dad, and they had some conflict from that, and probably better to. I think he wanted to keep the relationship, as uncompromised as possible. So I think he was doing it just to look out for us.
So where did you go from Springfield?
Then I went to Oxford, Ohio, to Miami University. So I decided to go to school there, and that's where I picked up the guitar. I lived in an arts dorm. I learned from some other kids that were music majors, and my roommate, who was also a high school friend, played guitar, and I got invited to be a singer in this band, and so I joined this band, became a creative writing major, I went over to Luxembourg for a semester and studied abroad, and I kind of learned how to write songs over there. Brought a little dictaphone with me and recorded all these ideas all the time. I came home and made a record for myself, so it was like my first solo record.
Is that the one called Upland, or is there something before Upland?
No, it's called No More Crazy Love Songs,
So-
and actually I ended up recording that song for the new record because I thought it would be kind of nice to revisit it, so I did that. And yeah, it was just a thing I did on like an 18-track digital recorder, and it was pretty much all acoustic. So
Upland would be considered the biggest first debut, sort of, right?
I would say, I mean, I kind of consider Lost and Found my first record because it was the first one to come out in stores and actually have distribution or anything behind it. So it was on an actual record label. But yeah, technically it would be No More Crazy Love Songs and Upland. Actually, we did this thing called the Never Sessions. It was 5 songs. That became Upland. And then Upland kind of morphed into Lost and Found. We took like 3 or 4 of those songs, put them on Lost and Found, and that was like my first major label release.
And a pretty great company to get involved with, Network, which was a label I was a pretty big fan of back in the day.
Yeah.
Not really sure what they're putting out these days. But
Yeah, I don't know.
There
Kind of
was-
lost track.
there was some consistency to, like, if you know it's on Network, it's going to be good.
Yeah, they had a lot of people back then, including like I think Coldplay's manager was at Network for a minute, and they had all sorts of people: Sarah McLachlan, Bare Naked Ladies, Avril Lavigne. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah. It was an impressive roster. And
Yeah.
before that, there was a bidding war for you. What did that feel like at the time?
Really exciting.
I bet.
It was really exciting. I found I was a big Ryan Adams fan when his record Heartbreaker was one I started listening to in Philadelphia, and then I went down to Nashville and started meeting like all the people that worked with him. Like his manager Frank Collari was like one of the first people to find me and pay attention to me, and then Island Def Jam, which owned Lost Highway, was like the label that he was on, and so I was like, man, this is pretty crazy. Like I just moved down here, and now I'm talking to all these people, and so yeah, it was wild to get into the music business in that way.
Yeah. Just thrown right in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, I still have the the stickers, the hype stickers that come on. I like to save those for some reason.
Yeah.
And in this case, with the Lost and Found album, it compares Bono and Johnny Cash.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I suppose, probably a cool thing for you because you're, as far as I could tell, a fan of both.
Yeah, that was the Paste magazine quote, I think. So
It's a nice start.
that was a good start. Yep. I remember when they had given me a really good review, and they featured me in a lot of like up and coming artists to watch or something, and got a lot of press from them in the early days. But I remember like the first time, I thought the record we made was so great, and I was so proud of it. And I remember the first time I read a negative review, and my feelings were so hurt, and I was like, how could this person say this stuff about me? Like, this is crazy. I was like, this guy is horrible, and it made me so upset that I kind of like, it's like, I cannot read reviews anymore. Like, this is crazy. So somebody having a bad day and just ripping on an artist that they don't know. It's like, jeez.
That's their job.
I guess, yeah.
Everyone's a critic. Well, everyone likes something different. Like, I mean, Jay-Z has sold millions of records. I've never liked one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing, no offense to anybody who likes this stuff. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Right.
It's not just because it's rap. I just don't hear anything.
Right.
I can say that about even some, local artists that have sent me their
Yeah.
music, which is not a nice thing to say, but it's just not everything is good, right? And everyone's taste is different.
Yeah.
Being a U2 fan, have you heard Matt Nathanson's cover of Achtung Baby that he calls Achtung Matty?
No. No.
He does the whole album.
Oh, wow.
Check that out.
That's cool.
Just a sidebar. I don't know why I threw that in there.
I've
but
never knew that. That's pretty cool.
Did you ever play any shows with him?
I did. I opened a show for him at Vanderbilt University in Nashville one time, and it was a long time ago. It was probably like 2004 or 5, I bet.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he is. He's good at entertaining in between the songs for sure.
For sure. Are you ready to sing? Wanna
Yeah, I
try
could do one.
All right, something from Stories for a Rainy Day?
Yeah,
Since that's what we're here to talk about a little bit, besides
Yeah.
your career.
I think I want to play the Mississippi Hippie.
All right. I was going to ask you about that one, so
All right.
appropriate. Griffin House is my guest today on Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. And a track you can find on his new album, Stories for a Rainy Day. It's the lead track, Mississippi Hippie. Backstory for this one? I know there is one. Do you want to tell the story before you sing the song?
Yeah, this is a song that's like written in 2009 or 10, but I forgot all about it. And it was for a project for Esquire magazine that my friend Charlie Mars put together. And he took myself and Dierks Bentley and Bob Schneider and Ben Queller. We all went down there. And our assignment for the weekend was to write a song with the phrase "somewhere in Mississippi" in it. And Danny Clinch photographed the whole thing and documented the weekend. And I had fun writing this song called "The Mississippi Hippie." Played it that weekend, but then I think Esquire put it up on their website for a while online, but it never really got released. And then it just kind of got buried and forgotten about. I never really wrote it down or recorded it myself. And then in the middle of the pandemic, this guy, Mark, kept showing up at my online shows. And one week he requested "The Mississippi Hippie," and I kind of ignored him because I was like, I can't play that song. I don't know it. And he showed up like 3 weekends in a row. And finally I just had to say, man, I would play this song for you if I knew it, but I don't remember it. And then later that night, I got a direct message on Instagram, and Mark had sent me a recording of "Mississippi Hippie."
He had it,
and
you
he
didn't.
had it. And yeah, so I listened to it, and I was like, well, this is actually pretty good. I could rework this one verse and make it better. And then I actually got to play it for Mark later that summer in Columbus, and I told the whole story. He showed up at the show, and it went well. It was like a song that got a lot of laughs every night. So I kept playing it, and I had so much fun doing it, and it was working so well at the shows that I decided I should probably put it on my album, so I did.
There you go.
Yeah.
Griffin House on Acoustic Alternatives.
Somewhere in Mississippi is where my dad was born. He grew up on a farm, milking cows and growing corn, and he met my mom at Woodstock back in '69. She grew up in Jackson, right across the county line, and they had one thing in common. They were hippies from Mississippi. And they had a little house out on the Natchez Trace, but Mom, she got so fed up with feeling out of place that she spent the 1980s touring with the Dead. And when I asked her why she left us, this is all she said: son, it's no fun being a hippie in Mississippi. So we moved into a commune, and I never had a chance. That's why I never had a date to any high school dance. Although there was one girl who liked me, I think her name was Julie. She wore the same shirt every day, and she smelled like patchouli. And by the time we left for college, I realized, oh my God, I'm a hippie from Mississippi. You gotta have your football if you're in the SEC, but no one wants to have a hippie in their fraternity. So I rooted for Alabama and even Ohio State. Yeah, I cheered for any team that Mississippi hates, and that made it just a little more tolerable to be a hippie in Mississippi. All right. Well, I'd move to San Francisco if I had that kind of cash. I'd drop the LSD and smoke some California hash. And I bet you anything I would find my true love there. She'd have a lily white dress and flowers in her hair. And I'd walk right up to her and say, you'd go awfully nice with a hippie from Mississippi. Somewhere in Mississippi, I heard it on the news. Tiger Woods is in the clinic with the sex addiction blues. And I know it can't be easy being locked up in a room with no cell phone and no internet and nothing else to do. But if you think that's hard, Tiger, try being a hippie in Mississippi.
Griffin House on Acoustic Alternatives, Mississippi Hippie, the lead track from Stories for a Rainy Day, his 2022 release that came out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Hey, all for love. There's no love songs on here. I guess there is. There's no more crazy love songs on here. Anyway.
Anti-love song.
Anti-love song. I wanted to ask about how you get into a character song like that. That's not about you. You're not a Mississippi hippie.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just, it seemed like a good way to tell a story. And I mean, sometimes when you're trying to tell a story, the rhymes won't always work if you try to put it in the third person. And so you kind of just move stuff around and figure out, does the song need to be in the first person or second person or third person? And so, I just told the story in first person. I mean, it's done a lot in music. I mean, people often assume that things are autobiographical just because it's in the first person, but that's probably more often than not the case. So, yeah.
We'll come back to the album and other characters on the album. I want to back up a bit back to album number 3, where you had a song that now has 2 million views on YouTube. The Guy That Says Goodbye to You is out of his mind, which is kind of my starting point with falling in love with your music, and still one of my favorite songs of all time. What does it feel like to have a video that has 2 million views, but has never really been a radio hit?
No, it's so weird, isn't it? I'm really grateful for that song coming out of nowhere and falling in my lap one day, and that I was there to capture it, because it did make a big difference in me being known as an artist, and it helped my shows go a lot better, which is how I've built my whole career, is around touring. And so when that song came out, I had been touring it for probably a year already, but then it kind of people started to find out about it and pay attention to it, and my crowd started to grow. And we had a famous show at the Double Door in Chicago where this is the first time that it was I think it was sold out. It was like it was definitely sold out. It was like 400 people or more at this place, and we were just like, wow. We walked in, and it was all because of that song getting out there. And so it's helped a lot. 2 million views, though. It's funny because like my daughters are like, Dad, this guy has like 80 million YouTube subscribers. So they look at 2 million views, and it's like nothing. So my kids
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'd be happy if that were me.
Yeah, it's a lot of views.
It is. Well, actually, I'd heard of you on Lost and Found. I mean, I had that record already.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really it hadn't impacted me the way. I liked songs on it, but that one made me go, whoa, what a great song. It just hit me in the heart, like I'm sure it does a lot of people.
That's so cool. Yeah. I'm glad I got to write that one. It's unfortunately, that album that had that song on it, and it never got worked. Like I always wonder what would have happened if the label would have actually gotten behind this song and worked it at radio. Like it could have been a really massive hit, I think, had it done that. But it did a lot just by word of mouth. So
it ended up on 2 albums.
Did it? Yeah, it ended up on Homecoming, and it ended up on Flying Upside Down. And when I made Homecoming, I thought it was such a great record, and the label network didn't want to put it out, and I was furious. I was like, why wouldn't you put this record is amazing? Like, what are you talking about? And for whatever reason, they just didn't want to do it. And so they wanted me to go work with this producer who's now a dear friend of mine. We've known each other for a long time, and recorded some songs with him first back in 2005. And his name's Jeff Trott, and he produced that record. And he has a lot of hit songs with Sheryl Crow that he's written with her, and moved to Nashville a few years ago. And so he was friends with some of the guys in Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So he got Benmont Tench and Mike Campbell to play on the album, and a couple other really great musicians for the rest of the band. And we had Justin Meldal Johnson, who's played bass for Beck, and we had Victor Indrizzo, who's a great drummer, who's played for lots of people. And so we had this great band, and then the label finally wanted to put it out. And I think Homecoming's just as good of a record, but they also said you got to put The Guy That Says Goodbye to You on here, because it was clear to them that it was, selling a lot. But I think back then too, like labels and producers couldn't wrap their head around the idea that a song like The Guy That Says Goodbye to You could be a hit, because it didn't really have a chorus, and they thought that songs need a chorus. It's like, no, it doesn't. Like Folsom Prison Blues doesn't have a chorus. It doesn't matter. What matters is if it sticks in somebody's mind. and it's memorable. You know, the whole idea about a chorus is like you write a chorus because that's typically the part that gets stuck in your head.
Sure.
But if you have a song called "The Guy That Says Goodbye to You Is Out of His Mind" and you remember it because it's a long title and you remember it for other reasons, you don't need that. So I couldn't convince them though that this could be done. So they didn't really take a chance on it, and we picked the totally wrong song off the album just because it had a chorus, and it was like a song that's not even, people don't even ask for me to play it. You know, it's like we always notoriously picked the wrong single off every record. So you know, all my most popular songs are not the singles that we picked. So
that's very
we
interesting.
never had any success with that.
That's an interesting observation. In the movie Rising Star, about you, I guess documentary, you kind of talk about, how do I phrase that? Songs that you thought were going to be hits, besides The Guy That Says Goodbye to You, which is an obvious one. What other songs of yours did you think should have been massive hits? And there's I don't think there's any shame in saying so. You wrote
the song that's I think almost as popular as The Guy That Says Goodbye is "Better Than Love," and that seems to be one that people continue to find out about and pass along. And I'm not really sure why. I know people get married to that song a lot. It seems I've had a lot of people tell me that, but it seems to still have some legs and still get out there. And in terms of like downloads or whatever, I think it's right up there. And then
your own personal opinion, not the fans' opinion, though, is what I'm asking.
Oh,
like,
my personal
you
opinion?
wrote songs and got, this is going to be the hit for sure.
No, it was always one where I was thinking in almost the opposite direction. Like it would be a song that reminded me of U2 or seemed like it was a big song that sounded like something that you would play in a stadium, where in fact the exact opposite was often true. Because I didn't think The Guy That Says Goodbye to You would be a hit. I thought it would be like another song on one of my albums. Like I thought Waterfall would be a huge hit, but it never, even though it was on a Rembrandt toothpaste commercial, it never really took off. And it's still to this day like not one of my most popular songs from downloads. I can never really understand that because it's my favorite recording I've ever done. But there were other ones like my second record that I made was called House of David, and they didn't put that one out either. But I was thinking more like along the lines of like trying to go a little bit like the Coldplay route, but I didn't really know how to accomplish that. So I was trying to write these songs that you could play in like a stadium. There was a song called Don't Try to Hide It that was on House of David. And so I was trying to write these big songs thinking that that's what I needed to do. And it was the total opposite, because my first like real hit was The Guy That Says Goodbye, if you could call it that. But, you know, it's weird because it was just me on a guitar and it was all about the words and no chorus. And it was a small sounding song, just a little folk song.
Yeah. Well, as I kind of examine your songwriting, especially on this album, I mean, it has Mississippi Hippie. I would kind of almost put as a novelty song in a way, and so is another one that I think you're going to play. But we'll get to that in a minute. But Guy That Says Goodbye to You, beautiful love song. You've written songs about murder and about murder ballads. And you've had like both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that friend of yours was the murderer, and that had to be a weird song to write. But God, it's a good song.
Yeah.
God, to get it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
It was so strange to have that experience, because when you know somebody that does something that awful, I got the perspective of like, man, I wonder if, you know, to the rest of the world now, he's going to be this guy that's convicted of first-degree murder. And to me, he was just like this kid that I knew, and, you know, I knew his family and this whole other side of him before all that happened. And it was really strange. I stopped playing that song though, because, you know, some of the writing in the song is like really sympathetic toward my friend Andy, and it talks, you know, about forgiveness and things like that. And there was a couple cops in the audience in San Francisco, and they kind of like took it the wrong way when I sang it. I think I was opening for Matt Carney. They got really mad at me, and I don't know, I got uncomfortable after that to playing that song, so I haven't played that song in a long time.
I never thought of it as you condoning his activity, just sort of humanizing him, because he is.
Yeah,
he's just
that's
a
what
guy.
I was trying to do.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was very well written.
Oh, thanks.
It didn't make me. it made me feel sorry for him, really. Not like I thought, oh, that's okay, he did that. It was more like, God.
Yeah, that was the goal.
Yeah. Well,
I think people take some of the lines a little too literally or something. Like there's some questioning in the song. But yeah, that's how I thought it came across. But those guys probably just... I probably said something before the song, too, about like that he... what the crime that he had committed and that he shot a police officer, and if those guys were officers, then maybe they felt like I was like
condoning it.
Well, not even condoning, but just like sort of holding him up or glorifying his actions as some sort of like folk hero, and almost like don't give somebody like that any attention. I get why that would happen for them, but certainly wasn't my intention. So
Ice-T saying cop killer, and he's on TV still,
yeah, that's right,
playing a cop, which is the weirdest thing in the world.
That's funny.
Yes, it is. All right, so your life has changed since you began your career. You're a parent of 2 girls. Mm-hmm. Does that change your songwriting at all?
Yeah, I mean, getting married and having kids, I was kind of joke around like I got all my breakup songs out of my system in my 20s and didn't need to write those anymore. Can't really do that, but the 30s were certainly like learning more life lessons and growing up and having a family and just songs about stuff like that. And then so far it's been even more progression. I've kind of been enjoying making people laugh more now with my songs when I can. And I thought in the beginning of my career I was supposed to just try to make everybody cry or move them to tears, and now I like when people are laughing too. So it's nice to be able to do those at the same show sometimes.
You wrote The Little Girl and the Old Man with your daughter, right?
I did, yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
More of that coming?
Yeah.
Do you think she's taking an interest in music in the same way?
She is. She's hesitant to work with me because I think she really wants to be her own person and her own voice, and she's afraid that if she sings with me that she'll be like stuck in that character or that mode. And I'm trying to convince her like, no, you can sing with me and then like go do your own thing. You don't have to. But she's shy and she's protective of herself, so it's kind of interesting, even though we worked on that together. So she's taking voice lessons now at the School of Rock, and she's learning some instruments, but she's extremely talented, but she's very shy, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it to click for her that she's actually could just go sing circles around anyone if she wanted to, but she's just full of a little self-doubt still. So
it can happen.
Yeah.
On the album, there's also a song called Clara. Is that not one of your daughters?
Yeah, that's also my daughter, Clara. Yeah, so song for each daughter.
What was the other one? That's for both of them.
Yeah,
right there,
Clara's for Clara, and then Little Girl and the Old Man is for Emma.
There we go. I wasn't sure which song was for which.
Yeah.
Obviously, Clara's Clara.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, cool. And then duetting with Joy Williams at one point on a previous album made me think, I wonder if he's going to do any more of that kind of like duetting with female vocalists, because I really like how that sounded on that record.
That sounded great. Yeah, she was obviously a pleasure to sing with, I should say. Joy. Oh. Joy was joy to sing with. She's great. She's a good friend, and it was fun to make that song with her. And now that we don't live in Nashville, though, my opportunities to collaborate are few and far between. So
makes sense.
Yeah, I actually went down to New Jersey to record the new record Stories for a Rainy Day, and worked with some guys that I had made my So On and So Forth record with. And we did it in like 3 days. We just did setup and played the songs live, and didn't have a full band, just kind of had a drummer, and then I played the guitar and sang, and then we had a keyboard player, piano player, so it was just a pretty stripped down way to record, but it was fun.
Just for review purposes, last night I rented Rising Star because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I forgot that you had filmed some of it at the Arc, which tonight you're playing there. Not that that's relevant by the time people hear this, but
yeah,
it's relevant because you're going to probably sing Mississippi Hippie and they're going to boo when you say Ohio State, just so you know.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing the Arc, though, on the film, and at that point you were joined.
Maybe I could change it to Michigan State tonight.
If you could work it in, I bet that would be more popular. But
yeah,
that'd be funny. What was it like being filmed all the time, though? I bet that was uncomfortable.
It kind of was. It got annoying after a while. And I'm sure it got, Shane was always trying to like get the shot, and I was always trying to concentrate on what I was doing. And sometimes he would get really frustrated with me. Like he would kind of like yell at me to slow down or do stuff. I remember one time we were I was trying to do this running scene, and we were running through Washington D.C. and he was trying to follow me with the camera, and I was going too fast for him. And he's just got mad. He's like, slow down.
I was impressed with your pace, by the way, when I watched that. I'm like, wow, he runs well.
I was hamming it up for the camera a little bit. I wasn't really running that fast the whole time, but I got to take a lot of breaks, so I would run pretty hard and make it look like I was, super fast.
You did look super fast. You had me fooled.
Yeah.
Secrets are being revealed. Shh.
That's funny.
So that also made me wonder, because you talk a bit about the, not to say lack of success, but it made me wonder what success means to you.
I don't know. I mean, I still question. I think if we could do the movie all over again, now knowing what I know, I would do it in a little bit different way. Like, I would definitely include some more highlights of how good things have been in certain moments. And I think the idea with Shane and I had shared a common path in that we had both had a fair amount of success early on, and then it was like we kind of hit a little plateau, and then we watched other people like come up from behind us, and the feeling was almost like we're getting passed up, and we didn't quite make it to where we thought we wanted to. And so we were trying to make a film just about dealing with those feelings and dealing with the just the normal struggles of being a musician and trying to follow your dreams and get from point A to point B. But I think there were times when watching the film in hindsight where I think it maybe portrayed me as a little more downtrodden than I actually am in real life. And so I think I would have made it a little bit different probably. But what was good about it is that it showed me, the movie reflected to me that like maybe my opinion of myself wasn't as high as it actually should be, which is a really weird thing when you're almost like you're trying to be humble or something, but you're almost like overdoing it and thereby like holding yourself back a little bit. And I think the movie showed me that I probably do that a bit, where like I hold myself back in ways, and that helped me. That helped me like be free from that and realize, oh man, I'm already so successful. Like I don't have to worry about this all the time, you know. Like I've had so many great things, and I've been blessed to be able to make all these records, and I'm so fortunate. And it helps me think about all the good stuff instead of like where I didn't get to, you know.
Right. I mean, most people don't get past 1 or 2 records. You're at, depending on how you count your albums,
yeah,
because not all of them are available. Apparently 13. I only count 9, but so really the success could be that you're still doing it, and there are always going to be ebbs and flows in the audience size. I mean,
yeah.
I got to interview, when he was in kind of not quite back to playing bigger rooms, Colin Hay.
Yeah.
Growing up, Colin Hay was, you know, the guy from Men at Work who
right.
sang at the biggest venue in town, and now I'm interviewing him in a studio where he's playing to maybe 400 people that night, and then eventually his career got. So I mean, you might have this little. You played a bunch of sold out rooms. You don't right now. You're not going to sell out too many shows, because I went to shows in the last year that should have been more full because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
they were definitely not. I mean, Jonathan Brooke, most recent guest on the podcast, would normally sell out the Arc. There was probably 100 people there, which was very stunning to me.
It's very strange. Yeah, it's been like that across the board for a while, but some stuff is starting to do well again.
Yeah,
but every now and then, like I got to the place in the past few years where before the pandemic, where all the shows seemed to be solid, and I was like, gosh, I haven't had like a stinker of a show in a long time. You kind of plan on that, you know. You always plan on having a few duds once in a while, and there was a lot of them when you started, but then that started to happen a little bit with the pandemic, but just got to keep rolling with it and keep going forward.
I say keep going too. I want to hear more music from you as it continues to come out of you. Got a few more questions, but are you ready to try another song? And I think it's the one I think it is.
Yeah. You want me to play?
I need the backstory. How the hell did you write this song?
I was trying to learn some guitar stuff. And so I was doing this, learning this stuff Mark Knopfler was talking about, of playing 4 beats to the bar with your thumb and then still picking in between it. And so I was practicing that a lot, and I kept playing around with these chords, and then this melody came into my head, and I kept singing something like tuxedo over and over again. It was like, my tuxedo, da, 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 da. And I just came up with as many things as I could think of that rhymed with tuxedo. And I started the song with like, here comes Guido, and sounded like, you know, probably subconsciously from the Dire Straits song, Here Comes Johnny. And so I just kept playing. I played around with it, and the song got more ridiculous and more ridiculous. And then for whatever reason in my mind, as I'm making rhymes, I'm like, Guido, tuxedo, burrito, torpedo, John Bommarito. So I don't know, man. Why I had to put you in there.
I'm completely honored, and even the way that I found out that the song existed made me go, what? Because it was Liz Longley who said, hey, have you heard the new Griffin House song? Because she had seen you live, doing it live. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? She said, you're in it. I'm in it? What do you mean I'm in it?
So funny.
And that was a hilarious moment for me I was feeling very down at that time, so that was like a lift for me. So.
Man, I mean, if anybody else ever puts your name in a song, I'll be impressed, but it's probably only going to happen once.
Yeah, I think now I'm up there with Joe DiMaggio because Paul Simon wrote him in a song.
That's right.
Right there with Joe. All right, this is a song that if you've paid attention to my radio show, if you've watched the video playlist, you've heard it a few times. It's called Guido.
Here comes Guido, swinging his burrito, puffing on a cigar, sipping on a Tito's, winking at the woman with the big torpedoes, walking down the beach wearing nothing but a Speedo. These dos, dems, and using yens, I'm heading down to Pittsburgh to see my friends. Me, oh my, oh, made it to Ohio, just in time to see the sun go down in the sky. Luck changes every day, you never know which one might go your way. Just keep trying, I ain't lying. You get busy living or you get busy dying. That's my credo, cheesy as a Cheeto. Doesn't matter much to me, amigo, whether you fail or you succeed, 'cause either way, life's pretty neato, yeah. Well, I ran into the woman with the big torpedoes, pumping gas outside Toledo. We hit it off, and the next thing we know, I'm walking down the aisle in my new tuxedo. Got hitched on the 4th of July, gave up my independence, and I don't know why. I made a vow to the day I die, it didn't matter anyhow, she left me for another guy. Luck changes every day, you never know which one might go your way. Just keep trying, I ain't lying. You get busy living or you get busy dying. That's my credo, corny as a Frito. Doesn't matter much to me, amigo, whether you fail or you succeed. Oh, either way, life's pretty neato, yeah. Old Rodrigo, working the bodego, won the lotto and he bought a Winnebago. Called San Diego just to tell his sister, you can stop dancing at the Pink Flamingo now. Luck changes every day, you never know which one might go your way. Just keep trying, I ain't lying. You get busy living or you get busy dying. That's my credo, cheesy as a Cheeto. Doesn't matter much to me, amigo, whether you failed or you succeed. Either way, life's pretty neato, yeah. What's that? Huh? Oh, that's my ego telling me they won't play this on the radio. That's okay though, my bandito. I know a DJ named John Bommarito, yeah. He's a real guy up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm sitting here with him right now. What's this? Oh no. Here comes Guido, swinging his burrito, smooching on the woman with the big torpedoes. They both pretend they don't see me though. He's walking down the beach wearing my tuxedo. Luck changes every day, you never know which one might go your way. Just keep trying, I ain't lying. You get busy living or you get busy dying. That's my credo, cheesy as a Cheeto. Doesn't matter much to me, amigo, whether you fail or you succeed, 'cause either way, life's pretty neato, yeah. Either way, life's pretty neato, yeah.
Griffin House's Guido on Acoustic Alternatives. Appropriately, the song that mentions me also says cheesy as a Cheeto and corny as a Frito, because that's probably how people describe my sense of humor anyway.
I tried to work Dorito in there, but it just didn't work, so I had to stick with Cheeto and Frito.
Strangely, I don't like either one of those snacks, but they rhyme with my name, and I get it. And the other thing is that it may be a silly novelty song, but there's still a really good message in there.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool about it. It's real. And I found out that I didn't really know where that line came from, but the line, you get busy living or you get busy dying, is Andy's line from Shawshank Redemption. And I watched the movie with my kids, and he said that at the end of the movie. And it makes me cry. That movie, just like, I think about that movie and it makes me cry. So I think there's an element of that where there's a subconscious reference to just that feeling of like, hey man, life's going to throw you lots of curveballs. You have no idea when your luck's going to get better or go downhill, and you just got to kind of roll with the punches and get busy living, you get busy dying.
And a lot of us have had challenges. I mean, the pandemic made it difficult for lots of people, but even life might have been going strangely before that hit. In my case, it kind of was, and then I hit that, and like, whoa, okay. So there's a positive thing here for everybody, not just guy who's name dropped in the song, which was the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. But thank you.
Songs are so cool because, it's like there's been times where that songs made me tear up for whatever reason, and it's weird that a song that's so freaking silly and stupid and just like makes everybody laugh just because it gives them a shocker can do that. But that's why I love music. That's why I got into doing it. The power of what words and a melody can do to our emotions is incredible. The art form itself is just an amazing thing because it takes a lot to like look at a painting and get goosebumps, but it doesn't take much when you hear a song for that to happen.
No.
And that's why I love music so much. And it's when I figured out that I might be able to just make some chords up myself and write something that could get someone to feel something deeply, it meant everything to me. It was like opening this superpower or something. The first song I wrote was for my high school sweetheart, who we broke up and went to different colleges, and I missed her a lot, and she came to visit me, and I'd learned some guitar, and I played her the song, and she cried, and that was like, oh man, this is awesome.
I have the power.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly.
Nice.
So I try to use it for good.
Yeah.
And try to use it as my own personal little therapist, and then sometimes those songs get to go out there and help other people experience joy and heal and laugh and cry if they need to. And
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing your job.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure.
I know there are, besides music, 2 other things that make you happy, and they're 4-letter words: yoga and golf.
I haven't done yoga in a while. I need to do more. That's not true. I use the tools that I know, but just basically to stretch out. But I haven't been to like classes in a while because of that past couple of years. It's been difficult, obviously. But I was going to hot yoga a lot in Nashville before stuff closed down, and that was really fun. You just crank it up to like 120 degrees. You just sweat like crazy. It feels so good afterwards.
Makes me thirsty just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's intense.
Wasn't there some golfing thing that you were recently involved in that I'm drawing a blank on what it was?
I went to go test some equipment for Golf Digest Hot List, and we test all the equipment for the year, and they kind of documented everything. And I've done some stuff with them before. They've included me on like the musician golfers list and the rankings. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to do more stuff like cross pollination with music and golf, and find out a way to like just be around that environment more when I'm on the road, because it's something that I enjoy doing during the day when I'm not playing a show. Sometimes I have time to do that, and it'd be nice if I could do something professionally a little bit more. So I've got some irons in the fire with that I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple of years I can do more of it.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
You should have your fun when you're out on the road working.
Yeah.
Because driving is not much fun.
No. Do like a little kind of second job type of thing, but yeah.
How do you keep healthy on the road? Because I know you walked in saying, I feel not so, strong today.
I've just sung I've played so many shows that no matter how healthy I am, the voice just gets tired. It's like you can't, you can be really, really healthy, but you just max a muscle out after a while,
Sure.
The more you work it. And so I'm grateful that I've had the voice the whole tour. I've got 2 more shows to go. And I hate losing my voice. I hate when my voice isn't 100%, because I really like to be able to use it in the way that I want to, and I hate when it prevents me from singing certain songs or parts of certain songs that I want to. And I felt a little scratchy the past few days, but you can hear it in my voice now, I think. But it's holding up pretty good. And to stay healthy, though, I really just try to do a lot of green juice and eat well and make sure that I sleep enough. It hasn't been the healthiest tour. It's been a lot of cheeseburgers and not enough green juice and not enough sleep. So I feel like I'm kind of burning the candle at both ends, but I'll get a little break after this, and hopefully get my health back on track a little bit.
Sorry to make you work an extra hour or so on your
fun.
in-between time. I appreciate you chatting with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other characters on the album Stories for a Rainy Day that are worth not necessarily playing if you don't feel like playing, but discussing the characters involved on the record? Because I know there were several.
Yeah, I could play one more, I think, if that works for you.
I don't want to push you, but yeah, of course.
Just trying to figure out which one would be best to play. I could play Clara, or I could play Little Girl and the Old Man.
I'd probably pick Clara. And before you do that, I wanted to mention something backing up to your Mark Knopfler comment. My friend Mark Jewett was listening to this album independently of me telling him to do so. And he said, seems to be a Mark Knopfler influence on Try Not to Think, which was interesting of him to pick up.
I don't know how you've heard that.
I don't know.
That's so weird.
I know. He's a guitar player as well.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what that influence would be, but it's definitely there. Unless it was maybe just the way that I was singing it or something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's interesting. It's weird how people can hear that. This guy in the car the other day, like, there's a song on called "You Mean the World to Me," and that has some George Michael influence in it, but I don't think you would know. And this guy picked up on it. He's like, "Man, it's kind of like George Michael in there." I'm like, "How did you know that?" Like, it's just very strange.
Like Listen Without Prejudice era, George? What era would he have picked up? I didn't pick up on it, and I'm a George fan, so.
I think it's just the style, like the way I sang that song is different than I've ever really sung a song before. So it was more, I went up into my head voice more and used my voice in a way that was different. And I guess that influence came through somehow. But I think it's just in the singing.
Interesting.
So now that we have this thrash metal going on next door,
awesome.
I don't know if we can
maybe we shouldn't
do the song, but we could try. Yeah.
Give it a shot.
All right.
If you're up for it.
So this song is called Clara. Wow, that's very loud over there. Okay. If it works out, it works out. If not, it doesn't. I know a girl and her name is Clara. She rides a bike in the modern era, yeah. She has a Halloween costume with the knife and the SWAT team, oh yeah. Oh Clara, crazy hair. Oh Clara, crazy hair. just a girl in the modern era, yeah. Sometimes the girls and boys, they tease her. She only wears the clothes that please her, yeah. Oh, Clara, with the crazy hair, she don't mess around with girly colors. She's the ringleader of all the fellas, yeah. Oh, Clara, with the crazy hair, she's not a tomboy, she's just Clara, just a girl in the modern era, yeah. Some people say she's a boy pretender. She's too young to know her gender, yeah. Oh, Clara, crazy hair, just a girl in the modern era, yeah. She wants to be a superhero like Spider-Man. She has no fear, oh, yeah. Oh, Clara, with the crazy hair, she likes Pikachu and Charmander. She's the boss, baby, and you can't command her, yeah. Oh, Clara, no bows in her hair and no mascara, just a girl in the modern era, yeah. Some people say she's a boy pretender. She's too young to know her gender, yeah. Oh, Clara, crazy hair, just a girl in the modern era, yeah. In the modern era, yeah. No bows in her hair, no mascara, just a girl in the modern era, yeah. Oh, Clara, beautiful Clara, just a girl in the modern era, yeah. In the modern era, yeah. In the modern era, yeah.
It wasn't coming through until now.
Yeah,
now,
here at
it's,
the end.
now it's coming through. Clara, one of my favorite songs on Stories for a Rainy Day. Griffin House, my guest today on Acoustic Alternatives. Two more quick questions.
Yeah.
If money was no object, touring solo or touring with a band?
Oh, I'd just do them both. I think I'd go out and do what we're doing now. I like it's really simple this way, and also I think I'm able to connect with the audience more easily this way because I feel like I have carte blanche to just talk as much as I want.
Absolutely.
And when the band's with me, I don't really feel like I can do that because I'm conscious of their feelings and what they're thinking, and if they stand around on stage while I'm talking too much, it just feels like they're like, come on, I want to play some music. So it's hard for me to feel free to do that. And also, a lot of the rooms that we end up playing are not really conducive to a band sound. Like the place we played last night really almost would have been too much. And so a lot of the rooms are just better acoustic. But I definitely miss some of the moments, exciting moments of being on stage with the band and being able to turn it up a bit. And it's fun, to be out with the guys too for a while. But after I got married, we realized that just was not like a sustainable or healthy recipe for keeping a marriage together. It's just like going and disappearing on the road with guys for a month was just like it's like very hard to sustain. So
for sure.
Yeah. And
your name is probably people have said to me, I don't know that band when I say your name. Like, no, it's a person.
Yeah.
So that probably annoys the heck out of you. Was it annoying when the TV show House was popular?
No, because sometimes people say that. The Harry Potter thing was like when people asked me if I named my band or named my artist name after Harry Potter. I'm like, I was born in 1980, so probably not.
No. It's not my band, it's me.
I've gone like full circle with my name because it's like I didn't like it when I was a kid because it was too different. I wanted to be like, you know, a Mike or a Matt or a Jeff or something like that.
Or John Bommarito.
Yeah, John Bommarito.
Because it's so musical.
But it was and then later I was like, oh no, I have a really cool name. And then with all these like weird references now with this, I feel like that's like full circle where I'm like suffering the downside of being named Griffin House again. But yeah, it's all right.
Look for the album Stories for a Rainy Day, your first non-physical release, I think, right? The first digital-only release you put out?
Yeah, I have not pressed up any CDs, and that's really weird to do that. But people just are not buying CDs at shows, so there's no point.
I still feel like they're a calling card, but you've established yourself you don't need a calling card. You have nine other ones, I guess.
I printed posters, so I have the artwork with the USB drive, so you can take the files on the USB and take the artwork with you, and it's a lot handier and tends to be how people listen to music anyway. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for playing some songs from it, despite feeling a little like I'm a little tired. I'm not sure what it is. So, and we have a little challenge which I haven't had. I've been doing this for a year and a half. I think it's the first time we've been getting so much bleed in. But hey, Grove Studios has its purpose, and those who are in the Ann Arbor, Detroit area, and you're looking for a place to again, you're not annoying your neighbors.
Right now.
You're annoying us right now, but that's okay because they paid their money and so did I. But it's all good. It's all good. That's what they're here for. They're making it available for people in and around the area to practice.
Yeah.
So, Griffin, great to see you, sir.
Great to see you too, John. Thank you for having me back.
My pleasure, and thank you again for the honor of putting me in a song that ties us together forever, as you said on the phone.
I know.
It's kind of
forever,
fun.
man. It's in the books.
All right. Good luck with the tour, the rest of the tour, a couple more days, and then I'm sure you'll get to go back out in the summer and a bit and do some more.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon. Thanks for being here, and hopefully there's another Acoustic Alternatives podcast. I don't have another one booked. This could be the end.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see.